Hello, welcome to my new channel. This video is going to be pretty rough because StreamYard is laggy, really badly laggy. I think it is StreamYard. It may be contributing factors as well from the internet, but yeah. Um, so we're going to get to some still images in, really quickly here. Matter of fact, I'll pull up the first book I want to talk about. So that you're not watching my laggy face while I talk, because that's disturbing me. So welcome to my channel, everybody. There will be better videos. I totally promise. I just have to figure out how to make better videos, given the state of things at the moment. But at least I've got a channel again. Unlike some of the other folks who've had some interesting experiences lately with their channels and the loss thereof, or horrible experiences like that. In this case, it's more a the dying computer finally died, and there were issues that came to a head accordingly. So as most of my followers from Jamie B Books know, I have been using Chromebooks, and the way Chromebooks work is you have an account that you can log into from any Chromebook, and it's like your desktop is migrated to that computer. So that part is cool. That plus the price keeps me going back to Chromebooks, because the one that I'm sitting on right now making this video was very cheap. It was on sale, and it's a little bit old because I got it for Christmas 2 years ago. So it's a little bit old already, despite being a brand new computer that's not been used before. So yeah, but it is updating itself, so it shouldn't be woefully unable to handle everything compared to the one that I just had die. Should be a better computer by far. So that's why I'm guessing it's StreamYard that I'm having issues with for this video. Anyway, inquiring minds want to know. Yes, it's going to take a little bit for my audience to find me over here. So I don't expect this video to get a lot of views right away. But what the heck happened? Okay, so about a year ago, apparently it was about exactly a year ago, I had this harebrained scheme to change all my passwords to make everything more secure, which was a good idea. You should do that every once in a while. So I changed my password for my Google account, and I wrote it down. I did actually write it down in a notebook, and not a throwaway notebook, and a good notebook. I've seen it in the last 2 months. I know I have. So it's around somewhere, which is important because my sad old aging computer didn't pick up that change of password properly. I don't know what it was. There's people that have had this issue that I saw snippets from Reddit about, that, yeah, it does happen that sometimes you change your password and nothing seems to happen. And the old one works just fine. Just maybe there's some glitchiness, but glitchiness in an older computer just happens. So, by the time I thought, oh, maybe there's something off with this password, it had been a while, and I don't know where that notebook is by this point. Anyway, so compounding all this is that lovely autofill thing where the computer will put in the password for you. So you can have crazy passwords that you can't possibly memorize because the computer will do it, which is great. And, you can log into any Chromebook with your one set of logins, and all the rest of it is stored within their more secure system, which is certainly more secure than what, most of us would remember if we had to remember and make up passwords all the time. And I can see the benefits. However, now, since the password I set a year ago apparently did go through sort of enough that I can't log in to the new computer with the password that was working just fine on the old computer, because now it wants that password that I turned it into a year ago. I won't be able to access anything that I don't actually remember passwords for until I can log into this computer with that account. So I know I had some questions about, okay, why is it so catastrophically epic, this whole changing everything over thing? So it does work out in some ways. I've been dragging my feet about starting new social media because I hate having to keep track of all the sites and all the passwords as it is. Do I need double that? No, I do. I just need to get over it and get used to it and move on. But I'm working on setting up a bookstore, and I do want the bookstore to have social media that's not tied to my activity per se. So if I'm reading things that I don't really want to be broadcasting on the bookstore social media, it would be nice to have my personal set of social media separate from the store, because the store is not just me, it's me and my business partner, and we have very different tastes on some things. So I don't want to hog the social media as far as what we're promoting, and I don't want to be promoting things that are awkward for the bookstore that are just my personal interest, because I have a lot of hobbies that they're great, and my personal subscribers may not mind hearing tangents about all my favorite hobbies every once in a while as they pop up. But that may not be something I want to do for my bookstore marketing. Anyway, so I needed new social media, and I needed a good email address, because my email address before is actually the one that I set up when Gmail was new. It dates back to almost the first year that it was available for college students to have a Gmail account, because I worked in IT, so of course. So it's a bit outdated, and it doesn't look like the kind of email address that belongs to a business owner or a 40-something adult. So I needed a new email address anyway. So I made one, because you need that in order to log into the computer. So that's great. And then I realized, you guys that know me, and I'm mostly talking to people that are going to find this because they already know me and like, what the heck just happened? If you don't know me yet, this will make sense as you get to know me. So in my previous set of accounts that still exist nebulously in the cloud, I do NetGalley. I do NetGalley a lot. And I have hundreds of unread arcs to read that I was making my way through. I increased my percentage on NetGalley by 2% last month. Despite getting new arcs, it was going great. Maybe never going to see 80% in my lifetime at the rate I was going, but I was working on it. But I can't get into NetGalley with the password that I'm pretty sure was the last one that I made up on there. There may be another one that I can try. So I need to poke around with it and see again if I can find that notebook. If I find that notebook, I think the whole thing solves itself. But in the meantime, I don't know how long that's going to take. And maybe I'm slightly addicted. But I want all my sites and I want to keep doing the stuff that I like to do. And I can't wait until I find that notebook to do everything that I've been doing. So I made a new NetGalley account, which is also fine because the books that I want to read for myself personally may also be things that I don't really need to promote on my bookstore, because my bookstore is a used bookstore, not a new bookstore, at least so far. There it may expand to indie and small press, but we need to figure out how to run our used bookstore before we add more complications of different ways of obtaining stock and stuff like that. But I am considering it, and I know I have a few friends that are in small publishing. And yes, my bookstore, once we have it in place and up and running and all that, I definitely like the idea of figuring out how to work with small publishers and independent publishers, co-ops and things like that. Obviously, I don't know all that side of the industry yet, but I'm learning. So, there's things that I'll be getting off NetGalley that I want to read for myself, but they're not really for the store. And even though I'm obviously going to read them and then review them on my social media, it may not need to be on the bookstore's social media. So it's not insane. It's not to set up parallel accounts so that I have ones that are my personal and ones that are for the bookstore business. So, and I know some of my friends do this already, and they're like, duh, of course you were going to need that. So anyway, all this fiasco has just made me actually set up some accounts that I needed anyway. That's a good thing. And I finally had to power up my new computer, which is fine. That's great. So that's what's going on. And I had to make myself a new Storygraph as well, which is also fine because I think I do want my bookstore to be on Storygraph. So once we have it up and running, everything that I'm setting up now is kind of subtly branded towards that bookstore. So it's me, but it's also the bookstore. So the Storygraph that I just set up will be the one that is more of the bookstore oriented Storygraph. And if we have book clubs and things like that for the store, that's the Storygraph I'll be using. Even once I've reconnected with all the stuff I was already doing, I'll maintain the new ones towards the business, which just means it'll be more targeted book content instead of whatever Jamie wants to make videos about. So anyway, so that's what's going on. The book on your screen right now is the arc that I read and listened to the audiobook for this past weekend for a sightseeing prompt for Tar, the Amazing Readathon. That was the last book I finished before the new leg dropped. And then all this happened. Because it got really warm today. I think the high was somewhere around 100. And I think the heat kind of did my old computer in. I don't know if I can get it to focus in this lighting and with everything, that the lag and everything, but I will show you the computer that died. And I think it's still bulging enough to be interesting looking on camera. Because the dead Chromebook and the one that died before it both died the same way. I hope they fixed it in this iteration of Chromebooks. I'm kind of getting tired of it because it's bizarre. Their batteries, at least the batteries in the last 2 Chromebooks I had, um, when they get old, they start producing too much gas in the battery, and it starts to expand. And either it explodes. Thankfully, neither of mine exploded, or they just gradually expand, and so the keyboard area bulges over the battery. The one before this one actually cracked across that part of the casing. This one hasn't cracked, it just bulges. But obviously, it was not a happy computer. It had issues. It has now died. It is a brick. When you plug it in, there's no longer a light showing that it's actually plugged in. It is a dead computer. So that was the the beginning of this fiasco. And then I have a feeling that that our fiber internet is also having issues. I fixed it, I think. But I Googled what to do about it because it was shutting off. So I'd have to hard reset it, turn it off and on again. And then it would come back and it would be on for about 5 minutes, and then it would go off again and I'd have to hard reset it again. And it was like that all day. I think it was partly overheating because, again, we had a high in the hundreds, probably just 100, but maybe 102 for that matter, because it certainly was warm. So it might have been overheating, but it also probably was a few other things. And it may be that some of the fibers are actually sustaining some damage. When that happens, you just have to get new cable wherever the damage happened. And that's hopefully the above ground stuff, because if they're having issues below ground, But I think I have an idea where they would need to look. If we needed a technician out here. Anyway, so all this has happened today. It's been a long day. I did finish a book. So I will be doing a wrap-up video for the week of the physical books that I finished this week. And hopefully get my computer and StreamYard and the internet to agree about making a passable video for that. If not, I can probably record a smoother video on just the computer itself using its camera and its recording system. It's just not going to be able to have pictures on screen like what's on the screen now. And I've still not found video editing software that's free and works on the Chromebooks, especially the low-cost Chromebooks that I've got, that would allow me to splice together videos. I looked when I was doing the Read the Beats with Jesse Kiwi, and I tried to get several things to work, and the one that worked the best, it started to open and then crashed every time I tried to open it. So that was not going to work. So it may be more basic videos for a little while until I get things figured out. But that's okay. We'll get there. So the book on the screen, this is one, The Children by Melissa Albert, that I had as an ARC. It archived not too long ago, actually. And then they did a big push and were marketing it, and I was seeing it in a few places. So they had it at the library, so I could get it streaming audio, and I listened to it and read my ebook arc of it at the same time. And that way I could read when I was having the fan on and couldn't hear the audiobook as well and stuff like that. It's good. And I'm actually reading one now that some of you guys may have read. I'm reading How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. That's reminding me of the children in the setup, because we have an adult, like middle-aged, like 30s, an adult woman who has a brother, and there's something off about the parents. And in the children, um, their mother is famous as a children's book author of a particular series of children's books, maybe inspired by Enid Blyton loosely, but more just a particularly popular children's series that went viral, and she used her children, their actual names and details about them in the books, which throws the children into the limelight at all times, to the point where they were at risk from the public because they were famous because of these books. So then we fast forward to their adults. They're trying to put it all behind them and pretend that their parents don't exist and that they didn't have childhoods and all that kind of stuff. And stuff is going on, and there may be weird stuff going on, but it's not clear, but things aren't adding up. It was really good. It was about 4.5 stars for me. At no point did I feel like I can't put this down. This is amazing. And I was a little bored by about halfway through. And then there is a twist halfway through that kind of got my interest going again, but it kind of lags for a little bit in the middle. So if you're going through this book and like nothing is happening, they're just annoying. Lots of parties, just same old, same old. It does change up about halfway through. So stuff will happen. And I did like it. I mean, 4.5 is not bad. I think I might like Grady Hendrix slightly better because this is the third Grady Hendrix I've read. Yeah. Because the something for Wayward Girls, that one, and Grady Hendrix did Horror Store as well, and I loved Horror Store. So this will be a third Grady Hendrix for me. I would wave it in front of the camera, but it's not gonna. Here, let's see. There we go. Oh my gosh, you can see it, but you can see how laggy it is too. Anyway, so I'm reading that right now. It fulfills a sightseeing prompt for Tar, so that'll be fun. So for something else that I'm reading, this was the arc that I was actively reading when all this mess started, when my computer died. This is Serum 8, Amsterdam 2045 by Ian Ginn. Or Jan Ginn. I don't know where he's from, so it might be Jan Ginn. If the Amsterdam 2045 indicates that this guy is actually from somewhere near Amsterdam, which is possible. So I lucked out on this one because when I set up my new NetGalley, this is Read Now. I'd forgotten it was, but it is. It's a Read Now. So it doesn't have to be requested, which is important because when you start off in NetGalley, it does not matter that in your other account you have 200 plus reviews and like can request anything and be likely to get it. I was doing really well for a while there, getting pretty much everything that I wanted, and now I have to start over. Grumble, grumble, grumble. But at least the one that I was halfway through, or well, not halfway, it turns out I was at about 32% when I found the page I left off at. But this one is really good. This is a sci-fi thriller involving maybe zombies and maybe a serum, that's the title, that's involved in the production of the zombies as an accidental byproduct of something else they're doing. I'm really enjoying it. If you need a book for a prompt that involves zombies and you're not really into the classic zombie novels, this one is enough zombie to definitely be a zombie novel, while also not being so in your face zombie that I don't like it, because I'm not really a zombie fan usually, but I like this one so far. And it's still enough sci-fi that that's really more my genre than the horror anyway. And it's not so sci-fi that if you're just dipping a toe in the water of sci-fi that it would be too much. So it's a nice happy medium that kind of sits in the crossover between quite a few of those genre types. So I'm enjoying it. I don't remember offhand when it comes out. I'll put that in the description for this one and the children, since they both are coming out or just recently came out. So yeah, check this one out when you can, or if you're on NetGalley, it is read now for the US anyway. And I'm really enjoying it. So maybe, yeah, maybe you would too. It has an eye on the cover too, which used to be used for prompt, which is what I wanted it for. But yeah, it's really good. Julian, what's up? All right, so pull that off. I'm gonna edit this out. Julian, hi. Are you outside? You are? Okay. Yeah, oh. Huh. Hi. Should we let the Julian back in? Probably. Julian. Julian. Yes. We come. Still we. Yeah. Hi. You want to come back in? Come on in. No, maybe. Are you coming in? No, maybe. No. Okay. I'm not bringing anything out. As soon as I put wet food out, everyone's gonna eat it but you. No. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm reading now. I did pull up a picture of it because that was pretty sad. And so far, it's just the adult kids. The sister is the main character, and then her brother. And very similar to the children, they're not really in contact before the plot starts to build up. So in the children, something happened, and we don't know right away what happened, that the brother and sister used to be friends, and they're definitely not anymore. They're not really in contact anymore. And in this one, I don't know if they ever were really that close, but they're definitely not close when all this plot starts to open up. So very similar structures for both. I didn't intend there to be a theme, but it feels like I'm reading on a theme. But I'm liking it. It's good. And the other book that I'm going to show in this video is one that I should have shown last month on my Jamie B Books channel, which is out there waiting for me and feeling neglected. Poor thing. In the meantime, I got a book as a late birthday present from a friend's mother. And it is gorgeous, and I would show it in person, but I couldn't get the camera to focus very well. Because StreamYard, because lagging, evil. Anyway, it is beautiful. The shiny looking bits in this picture are actually gilded. It's, I think, faux leather. It might actually be leather. But it's a really nice bound hardback. And the book that I read before this one in the series was also really nice like this. It was a library book, and I'd put a hold on it. And when I got it, I was amazed because it did not feel or look like a library book. It was like a folio edition sort of book. So that's exciting. Kevin J. Anderson is actually originally a Colorado author. I don't know if he's still in Colorado now, but he's in the region anyway. And he had everything published by mainstream presses, and got tired of dealing with all of that. Made his own small press, and now he runs a small press, and his books come out of, I think all of them come out of his own press. So that would explain why there's such nice quality books, just as the standard hardback. Because I've never met a big publisher's books that were like that. But anyway, it's a beautiful book. This is Clockwork Destiny. It's book 3. The first book is Clockwork Angels, then Clockwork Lives, and now we have Clockwork Destiny. They're kind of steampunk fantasy, but more on the fantasy heavy rather than the steampunk heavy. So they're fun. And I've read the first 2, but I only found out there was a third one when I was poking around at the website for this guy's publishing house, because I wanted to know if there was a new Dan Shambles book coming out. Turns out there have been a couple since I last read them. But that's another series by Kevin J. Anderson. He's written a lot of other things for franchise series and other stuff too. And some cute standalones. There's one about a con artist, and a little ensemble of con artists that go around and try to scam villages out of money for killing the dragon when there isn't one, and maybe sometimes their scam might shoot themselves in the foot, so to speak. Anyway, it was really good. So if you haven't read Kevin J. Anderson, you totally should. He has some amazing books. Anyway, we'll stick to just these 4 and the rambly, not quite faceless approach to making a video for this one. There will be more videos on this channel. Even once I get back into Jamie B books, I will get back into it. It will happen. I just have to find the stupid notebook. And no, there's no other way around it that I can find so far, because yeah, the phone number on that account was one that I don't have anymore, which means, well, it might not have even been set. It may not even be that. Just what you can see of the phone number, like that's yeah, I probably didn't set one. So fair warning for all you guys that are lax about that stuff. If you don't set up your phone to be able to bypass password issues, you may find yourself doing some things that you weren't expecting to do to work around it. Anyway, yeah, poster child for, there were easier ways I could have done this if I'd been smarter a year ago or 2 years ago. Maybe some of it has to do with that glitch that happened when I tried to actually be a responsible user and change the password. Oh my gosh. Anyway, um, welcome to my channel. If you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I hope that all my friends that were following me before find this and follow me again, so that they're still seeing my content now that it's migrated to a different channel for a while. And once the other channel is accessible again, I'll still be doing bookish content on both. All my readathon stuff really should be on the personal one, though, once I have my bookstore. Unless my bookstore is somehow actually involved in the readathons. So that's something I knew I was going to need to do anyway. So going forward, there will be bookish content on both. Just this one will be more for reviews, as opposed to what I'm doing for social events like readathons. Because when I finish books and when my sister's finished with the books that I finished, then unless she's keeping it, it goes into the stock. So these review videos will also be books that are suddenly becoming available in the store quite often. So yeah, so that all goes together in my head anyway. In the meantime, this is the building phase where we're still trying to figure out the financing end of getting our bookstore. It will happen. We will have a bookstore by this time next year, guaranteed. Right. So happy reading, everyone. We will make this work. And maybe I'll have to try something else instead of StreamYard if StreamYard is this bad. But we'll see. I will talk to you guys soon. It's nice to be sort of back. Bye.